Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. Today is the day that we play LAFC in the first group stage game of the Club World Cup. We're going to be talking about Enzo Maresca's press conference where he covers Liam Delap. He also covers the goalkeeping situation. We also have the first words from Liam Delap as a Chelsea player. And Kendry Paez will be at the Club World Cup, but he won't be playing. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k by the end of 2025. Kicking things off, Ben Jacobs has reported, understand that Kendry Paez will now travel to America and stay with Chelsea during the Club World Cup. He is not registered as a player, at least not for the first part of the tournament. However, he will stay with the team and join in training sessions. Kieran Gill has also reported it is understood that Kendry Paez's preference would be around Chelsea's first team next season. The club is considering what is best for his progress. Andre Santos has been used as an example of how temporary stay at Strasbourg can be beneficial. Now, this is very interesting. There's a lot of people calling out player power. The optics of this doesn't look very good from the outside, but realistically it's not that deep. Now, Kendry Paez is a player that Chelsea fans are very excited about seeing. We want to see him play in a Chelsea shirt. There was speculation whereabouts he was going to stay at Chelsea next season or go on loan to Strasbourg, and it looked like Chelsea decided that Paez was going to go on loan to Strasbourg next season and then come back the season after, very much like Andre Santos, as was quoted. And to be fair, look, Andre Santos had an incredible development season at Strasbourg, and I feel like Paez would do the same thing. He is very young. He's been in around London, Cobham, Europe, training with, Strasbourg and Chelsea, trying to get and adapt to European football, before he turns 18 so he can be ready for the Premier League. Obviously, we have Esteban Willian coming in as well, and he looks like he's going straight into Chelsea's first team. He had an incredible game last night in the Club World Cup. I can't remember who they were playing. It was Palmeiras versus someone. I don't hold me to it. Let me know in the comments. But I know it was 0-0, and he had an outrageous game. Very, very much looking forward to watching him in a Chelsea shirt. But when it comes to Paez, it was almost like his agent and his team were like, whoa. We're not sending him on loan to Strasbourg. The plan was he was going to stay at Chelsea. He's going to play for Chelsea's first team. And I feel like Chelsea are slowly backtracking on this, so it does very much look like player power. It looks like he's kicking off a fuss and why I'm going on loan. You promised me football here at Chelsea. You signed me beforehand. Even if I've got to fight for my place, that type of thing. That's what I want to be doing. That's what you agreed. And Chelsea are like, actually, yeah, we did say that actually. And I feel like it's just Chelsea kind of getting caught out a little bit in terms of what they've promised their players. It's very much the same with Esteban Willian, where we signed him on the premise that he's going to play centrally, even though we know he plays out on the right-hand side. And he said, I'll play on the right, but I want to play centrally, long term. And it's very much how we're going to handle that situation. Is he going to be in rotation with Cole Palmer? Is he going to play primarily on the right and then drift in centrally? We don't really know. But I feel like it's Chelsea just getting caught out on what they've promised players more than player power. I feel it's just like Chelsea have gone, okay, cool. What we'll do then is we'll monitor his progress and we'll kind of weigh up whether it makes sense to go to Strasbourg or stay at Chelsea this season, which doesn't look good from the outside looking in. Let's be honest, it doesn't look good. But I'm happy for Paez to be sticking around. Obviously, Chelsea fans want to see him play. We want to see him play in a Chelsea shirt. So it'd be interesting to see him at the Club World Cup and training, but just not playing. And whether that's just from his perspective of like, I want to be in and around that first team. I really want to train with her. I want to make sure that I'm up to standard so I can give my best to play for Chelsea Football Club, which I honestly respect. I think that's massive, and it speaks volumes on the type of player that Paez wants to be and is currently and looking to become. That's fantastic news, really. It's just, again, from Chelsea's owners and the board and whoever, the decision makers, it just looks very, very amateur. They're like, we're going to do this, and they're like, nope, we're going to do this instead, and they're like, actually, all right, we'll think about it. So very, very interested to know your thoughts and opinions down below on Kendry Paez. Do you feel like he does go on loan to Strasbourg after the Club World Cup for next season? Do you feel like he stays at Chelsea's first team for next season? I'd be happy with either, if I'm being honest. All I'm hoping that is Kendry Paez can develop into the player that he's projected to be, and I hope that staying at Chelsea doesn't hinder his growth. The one thing that works in his favour is we are currently very low on wingers, and we'll speak about this later on in the video. So it could be a case of, yes, I know he plays in more central options, but potentially he could play on the wider areas, fill in and do a job. I'm not entirely sure. If he is going to try and play centrally and that's his main focus, we are stacked in midfield in that area. So it's just going to be very difficult for him to get minutes and manage everything. Yes, we've got a lot of tournaments, a lot of competitions, a lot of minutes to be played. So yes, he will get opportunities. But I just don't know whether that would hinder his development on progress, or if he could absolutely blow us away and walk into our team. You just don't know until you actually start seeing him, and Maresca starts seeing him train and play and going, actually, this guy needs to stay. But very interested to know your thoughts down below. Lou Class has reported that Chelsea are in talks with a number of front of shirt sponsor suitors from the Middle East and the USA, although a long-term deal is not expected to be announced until after the Club World Cup, and Chelsea are requesting £55 million a year. They go on to report that Chelsea have not entered into any further talks with the Jordan brand. And Kieran Gill has also reported the Mail Sport has been told that Club World Cup rules made it difficult for Chelsea to find a sponsor purely for this tournament, as they would need to be contracted for the 25-26 campaign also. This is something that's been going on for years under this ownership. We've not had a front shirt sponsor for years now. And you kind of get used to it, at least in my opinion. I think the shirts look really clean without a sponsor. And then obviously we've got Damac, or the return of Damac, or however the joke goes, where we actually went on a good run, won a trophy, got top 4. And you see that shirt sponsor back on and you go, yeah, we missed that. We kind of missed that. As long as it's the right sponsor and it looks nice, yeah, we missed that. And this is just another example of how we've got owners that just don't have experience in football, like European football teams, different sports. Now, obviously, Bowley has got a lot of, I think it's baseball, NFL, that type of American sport he's got a lot of experience in, and obviously they have sponsors as well. So it's not like a new thing, but obviously the rules are very, very different. I'm guessing that Chelsea owners thought they could get Damac in, launch the residential buildings in Dubai, which done very, very well, and then that ends, they get a Club World Cup sponsor for this tournament, and then they can go get a long-term one for the next Premier League season. Realistically, that's just not how it works. You get a long-term sponsor and you secure it, and that's it, you get the bag for it. Now, for us, claiming £55 million I think is now a lot more achievable now we're back in the Champions League. And obviously this team is on an upwards trajectory. We massively need that front shirt sponsor money. We just do. Like, the way I've been speaking about it with a lot of people over the season, here and on TikTok as well in the comments, and it's basically free money. It's free money we've just not been getting for the last few years, which obviously has a knock-on on the financials. Now, yes, we've done very well. Yes, there's a lot of loopholes we've played with, but we're healthy in the PSR and the financials right now going into the next season, which is great. But just imagine how much more comfortable we would be with a front of shirt sponsor giving us £55 million a year, or even £50 million a year, whatever it may be, even more, depending on how we negotiate or who comes in. But I feel like it's mainly down to the Champions League football that's hindered us in terms of securing that money and the right sponsor that we want. Because obviously, if you're not in the Champions League, which is the biggest European competition for club football, a lot of sponsors are going to be like, yeah, we're not going to pay you that type of money because you're not getting seen by as many people as teams in the Champions League, which is fair enough, right? The one disappointing thing for us Chelsea fans, though, is no talks currently have gone any further with the Jordan brand, because I remember there was this big mystery around, were you going to get a partnership with Jordan if we qualify for the Champions League? And it was very much like, oh my god, it looks so clean, the concept kits looked amazing, and I would love to see that happen. But no further talks as of yet. However, I would like to ask you your thoughts on who you think Chelsea should partner with down below in the comments. Should it be someone like Qatar Air or an airlines that we have been linked with? Do you want that Jordan sponsor deal? Do you feel like Chelsea can achieve that £55 million sponsorship money now we're back in the Champions League? Kieran Gill has reported that Chelsea currently training, and the only ones missing were Christopher Nkunku, Mark Guiu, Josh Ashimpong and Aaron Anselmino. Everyone else is involved. Now, this is just before we get into the press conference and things that were said for Enzo Maresca, and also from Liam Delap's interview as well as a Chelsea player, as well as going over the goalkeeping situation. But I just thought we should cover this. I think this is very interesting. Obviously, Nkunku, we don't know why he was taken up. I'm assuming it's because our squad is so thinned out before this tournament, and we've not made the right signings in the key areas. Obviously, we know that Nkunku is looking to be going this summer. But yeah, he was missing from training. Mark Guiu, Josh Ashimpong, which is a shame because some of you, myself included, would like to see him get some minutes tonight. Some people were screaming for him to start, and I totally get that, but obviously if he's not training, it doesn't look likely. And Aaron Anselmino is a strange one. I don't know whether that's just a late travel, maybe he's a bit jet-lagged or a bit leggy from potentially any sort of international stuff he had to do. I have no idea with Aaron Anselmino. He seems to be an incredible sign for the future, but we've just not heard anything about him. But I thought this is just very interesting to cover. Only 4 players missing from the training. I don't think there's been reported any injuries, but just missing from that training session. So if they are going to be involved, it looks like they'll be getting minutes off the bench, which is still a good thing. But yeah, I probably will not be starting tonight. Going into Maresca's press conference, there's a lot to go through, so I'm going to try not to spend as much time on each single segment, but of course, let me know your comments down below on each single part. I love having a conversation with you guys. But Maresca says, in the Conference League, for every other team facing us, it was their game of the season. It might be the same here. If we don't prepare properly, we will have a problem against LAFC. I totally agree. And it's such a warped outlook of things, right? Because I've always said, and I said all the way through last season, like, we can't take this competition for granted. You can only play who's in front of you. You've got to respect your opponents, and you've got to play football. You've got to get the result, right? Regardless of the outside noise of like, oh, you're playing teams that are Wi-Fi passwords, or you're going somewhere else that no one. Whatever. It is what it is. A bit of banter from rival fans, but you do have to respect who you're playing, and you can only play who's in front of you, and you've got to get the result. It's very much the same in the Club World Cup. Chelsea have said many times they're taking this campaign very seriously. They want to go far in it. There's a lot of money to be made. We've got LAFC. Some people are like, oh yeah, we're going to smash them 4-5-0. We're in their place. We're in America, different climate, different time zone. We've not had a lot of time to prepare, just like all the other traveling clubs as well. I know it's not an excuse, but it is a factor in terms of how we need to be on our game. We need to start on the right foot. We need to get things over the line if we are to take this competition seriously, because if we don't, we will get slapped. It's as simple as that. And I don't think LAFC should be taken for granted. They've got some really good players. I think they had a relatively decent MLS season. I don't really know how the MLS season works because it's all split into different divisions and different playoffs and all that, so whatever. But they seem to have played pretty well from the last sort of run of form that I've seen, 6, 7 or 8 games. So I think Maresca is spot on with what I'm saying here. Ben Jacobs reported what Maresca said in regards to the players needing rest, and he said, we need to see the impact of this competition. Our rivals are on holiday. We are here. It's a new competition. We will see how it affects our season. He goes on to say that the players will need to have potentially up to a whole month off after this tournament, otherwise it's impossible. Now, I understand this. There's a lot of angles to this as well, because he is right in saying that our rivals are on holiday. We're here. It's a new competition. We don't know what it's going to bring. We don't know what the demands and the stress of the body is going to be, or from the team. It just depends on how far we go, the types of teams that we play as. The schedule seems to be relatively spaced out, which is good. FIFA obviously hold the World Cup and all of that sort of thing, so they know what they're doing in terms of scheduling their games. And they've kept it in a relatively small area considering how big America is, which is also good for travel, etc. Across a couple of states, load of stadiums, etc., which is good for the players, really. Saying that you need a whole month off, I think that's a bit tongue-in-cheek, because the players haven't really stopped. They just haven't stopped. If you think about 2020 and what happened, and obviously the pause on the league, and then we had like 3 months, and then all of a sudden it started up again. The players really haven't stopped since then, because of international tournaments, and the pre-season, and the new season, and then more international tournaments, because everything was crammed into such a tight space. And I was talking to my wife about this the other night, and I was just saying, like, it's crazy because they've not really had I remember growing up as a kid, and obviously prior to 2020, and obviously you still had international tournaments, but in the seasons that there wasn't, you would have the end of the season, and it felt like forever until football started again. But in the last 4 or 5 years, it's just been something, one thing after the other, constantly going into new seasons, new formats, new tournaments, new scheduling, more games. That I kind of understand that Maresca's like, they just need like a month off just to chill out and kind of rejuvenate for the next season. I don't think we're going to have that luxury unless we go out of this competition very early, which obviously I'm hoping that we don't, and the club hope that we don't, because we want to go far financially. So there's a bit of a catch-22 there, and I think Maresca's basically saying, look, we're going to have to see what happens, in terms of what it does for our team and what it does to the players, but we do need a bit of rest. Otherwise, it's just impossible to continue straight into a new season with all the competitions reset and expecting higher results. So I kind of respect it in that way. I think he does make a point, but I think it's also a bit tongue-in-cheek, like a whole month off. Usually players do get like 3-4 weeks off on a normal season where there isn't so many things crammed in. But obviously we've got to try and fit a pre-season in as well. It all depends on how far we go in this competition, but I'd love to know your thoughts about this. Enzo Maresca then started talking about the left wing position. He said, Jadon Sancho is not with us, so for sure that is a position we need to do something. We have Noni, Pedro and Tai only as proper wingers, so something for sure is going to happen. When the transfer window is open, for sure we can do something. Now officially, the transfer window opened today, which is great. So I feel like we are going to see a ramp up of Chelsea rumours, Chelsea talks, negotiations. Maybe we get that Jamie Gittins deal over the line. Who knows? It looks like it's very much going to happen across the summer, and I'm hoping that if that is the priority target for us, that we get this over the line ASAP Rocky. Now the window is open, so it can just be put to bed, and we're like, cool, at least we've got a rotation of 4 wingers as a minimum. If we still want to go out after and secure someone else, fantastic. We've bought ourselves more time by securing the main target that Enzo Maresca is after. But he goes on to say a little more. He goes on to talk about the goalkeeper situation. He said, the goalkeeper situation is quite easy and simple. Robert Sanchez is the number 1, then Philip Jorgensen. He then goes on to say, we're going to have to see in the next few weeks. We will have time to analyse and judge him and then make a final decision. For the rest, Maignan or other players that are not with us, I don't think it's worth talking about them. And I find this very interesting because we know that Enzo Maresca backs Sanchez. He did it all of last season. Whether or not he wanted to or not, whether he genuinely believes his own hype now, I don't know. But he's been very, very clear here. Mike Penders has joined. So they're going to analyse him, judge him, see where he is at, whether he stays with them two and fights for positions or he goes on loan. Because we know Penders has got incredible potential. He's basically said, look, Sanchez is 1, Philip Jorgensen's 2. Now, for us Chelsea fans, that's a kick in the teeth because we have to then put up with Sanchez as number 1 going into next season. Now, look, I don't just want to poo on Sanchez and just, whatever it is. I don't just want to drag him through the mud. I'm just saying what a lot of Chelsea fans think. And to be fair, there's a couple of subscribers in every time I mention Sanchez are backing Sanchez to the high heavens. And fair play, I respect you, man. I respect you. I respect what you're saying. But for the majority of Chelsea fans, we're just not confident in Sanchez. Now, look, if he goes on and has an absolute incredible season, then fair enough. He will naturally persuade Chelsea fans and be like, all right, maybe he is good enough for us to go compete on a higher level if he can sort out, his performances and his distribution mainly. That's the biggest focus for us, right? And obviously, their mistakes dry up and they stay dry up for a long time. But on the other hand, you're kind of thinking, right, okay, cool. The whole Maignan thing, or Mike Maignan, hopefully I pronounced that right. It was kind of dragged out. It was like a short burst of things then dragged out of like, oh, we have this opportunity. We didn't want to pay more. Now it looks like we're probably not going to go back in for them. Milan will probably go ask us again later on in the window because it will get shorter and shorter when they can actually make some money for Mike. So maybe it comes back in later on in the summer window. Who knows? But it just looks like we're happy to go into next season with Sanchez and Jorgensen and Mike Penders as the third because we're looking to offload Petrovic. Now, the best scenario for me personally is we keep Petrovic. He comes and fights for number 1. He takes Sanchez's spot. Sanchez is number 2. Petrovic is number 1. I'd be happy with that. But if we're getting rid of Petrovic and we're just going to have the 3 keepers of Sanchez, Jorgensen and Penders, all I'm going to say is it's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be a roller coaster and we better strap in. That's all I'm saying. But I would love to know your thoughts regarding the goalkeeping situation down below in the comments. What should Chelsea do? Nizar Kinsella then reported what Maresca said about Liam Delap, Chelsea's new number 9 signing. He said, Maresca refuses to say if Delap will start or not tomorrow, technically tonight. He also said that he's not guaranteed starting striker, he has to work for it. He then goes on to talk about Delap, saying Liam knows quite well how important the number 9 is to this club. I don't see any problem. I see Liam quite relaxed, easy, he's doing well. Since he's arrived, he's working well. We know each other already from a few years ago, so I know what Liam can give us. He knows what we can give him to improve and become a better player. In terms of number 9, hopefully he can score goals for us. The conversation with Liam has been quite clear. He was keen to join us because he knows the way we play. We won for the first time in the City Under-23 competition. He scored 24-25 goals that season. He knows exactly what we can give him. To him, I know what Liam can give us. The conversation was quite easy. We like Liam. Liam likes us. I don't have any doubt that he could be a future England number 9. Now, I really like what Enzo Maresca is saying here. He's basically saying he has to come in. No one has the right to be guaranteed a starting position. You have to come in and you have to work for it. We know what Liam can do. I've worked with him previously. He knows how we play. He likes us. We like him. I've got no doubts that he can go on and be an incredible number 9 and play for England and be a number 9. I really like that because he's not basically out in public saying, well, Jackson's not going to be a number 9 now. Got Delap, that's his goal. He's saying, look, we've got other players. Liam has to come in and work hard. If he works hard, he gets a starting position. Now, you may say, JR, you said this about the goalkeeping situation, how we don't want Robert Sanchez as a 1. You want Petrovic to come in, he's earned the right. I think that's a bit different because I still think Petrovic has to come in and fight for his position, but I don't think there's much of a fight for him to get it. I think he comes in, does a few training sessions, plays a few games, and Maresca goes, yeah, he's miles better. He's our number 1, right? I think that's how it works. I'm not saying that he has to walk around with a badge on saying that you are a guaranteed number 1. And I don't think that's what Petrovic means by that. I feel like Petrovic in that scenario means I want to come in some guarantee that I'm going to be number 1 because I feel like I've earned the right based on my performances last season and the performances of your goalkeepers this season. It's slightly different. When it comes to Maresca doing the man management, doing the press and the press conferences and saying the right things, I think he does this very well. I think he's absolutely spot on what he says. I have a previous relationship. We know that we work well together. He likes us. We like him. He has to come in and fight for his position. I have no doubts that he can come in and score a lot of goals and he will be England's future number 9. I love that. That's praise. That's a testament to Liam Delap's character, saying that he's going to work hard. He's quite relaxed, easygoing. He's worked well already since he's been in there. He clearly wants this project, wants to play for Chelsea. So I think Maresca has handled this very, very well. I have a feeling that Liam Delap will start tonight. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling that, it's something for the Chelsea fans. I feel like, again, I mentioned in my preview, if you've not watched it, there is a video I did yesterday where I go through the starting 11 who I think Enzo Maresca was going to choose based on the rotations of international games, who's going to be fit, etc. And I put Liam Delap as a number 9 for 2 reasons. One, it excites the Chelsea fans because we get to see a proper number 9 in a Chelsea shirt, someone who's a natural finisher in and around the box. And also, because Jackson played international football, Liam Delap turned down the under-21 Euros. So then he's been training and, he's fit and raring to go. He's had longer of a rest, so it makes sense. Now, if he's worked with Maresca before, he might find it a little bit easier to transition into the systems that we want to be playing. I just feel like Delap's going to start. But I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on what Maresca has said about Liam Delap down below in the comments. And lastly, Chelsea FC put out an interview with Liam Delap and his first words as a Chelsea player, and this is what he said. "I know when I came here it is to score goals and help the team as much as possible. I think the staff are all clear with how they want to play, so I just need to learn and understand the role that I need to do for the team. I'm aggressive, I like to battle with defenders, I'm fast, I'm a good finisher, so hopefully I'm exciting to watch." This got me so excited when I read it. Now, I know that there is a lot of propaganda around Delap at the moment on timelines of things, especially on X, saying like, we saw him scoring goals in training, and people are like, oh my God, he's Harry Kane regen, and he's going to be better than Costa, etc. I mean, he might be. We don't really know until we start seeing him play in this team. I don't want to get too carried away. One thing I do want to say, though, is the more that I'm seeing Liam Delap, the way he talks, the way he does train, I'm getting more excited because, like I've always said, having a natural finisher within your squad is going to be a noticeable difference, a massive difference. Someone like him, he could potentially go and score 20, 30 goals this season. Of course he can. But realistically, I don't see him going to get 30 GA in his first season unless he is already takes that massive step across the Club World Cup in this pre-season into the Premier League from last season, where he had a very good season and where we create so many chances. Everything just falls right for him. What I do feel, though, is you're going to get 15 plus goals from him this season, purely based on the fact that he is a natural finisher. He is fast, aggressive, different dynamic to what Jackson offers. He's a good finisher, and hopefully he's exciting to watch. I'm hoping he's exciting to watch too. Do you know what will be the most exciting thing to watch, Liam? Is you picking up the ball and banging it in the net. That is it. That'll be exciting. I don't care how it goes in. You score us goals, you will be a fan favourite. Now, obviously, he has spoken previously about the Chelsea number 9 curse. And he was like, I don't really care about that. I'm here to score goals. It's a number. I'm just going to come in and do my job. And again, I respect that. I'm super excited to see Liam Delap play in a Chelsea shirt, and I'm hoping that he can score a couple goals in this competition so we can really get to see what his finishing is like, what his placements and role is within Enzo Maresca's squad. Because like I said, it's a very vastly dynamic difference between having Jackson up front and Liam Delap. But that's just my opinion. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions down below about Liam Delap. Are you excited to watch him play in a Chelsea shirt? Do you think he's going to do well this season? Do you think he's going to flop this season? Will he be part of that Chelsea number 9 curse? Or will he break the curse and be a fantastic 9 and a future England number 9 for us? And that's all the latest Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one, and I mean that, you're a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.